So today we're going to break down Saturn, the full moon in Capricorn, the crazy energies that you might be feeling right now, because today is July's forecast of energy. Welcome. Okay, you guys, welcome to the Clarity Room. I'm Mama Michelle, human design, astrology, former social worker, and I am always here to go to the depths with people to help them sort out the truth for themselves. So today I really wanted to talk about Saturn because we have a full moon in Capricorn, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So there's a lot of Saturn energy. Listen, there are so many transits going on, so much information going on. I could be on here for hours, but I really just wanted to focus on what the energy is currently. Now, I made a TT, if you know what TT is in social media, a couple days ago. It got so many comments and hits about people really struggling with the energies out there, including myself. And it's as if right now we are all being asked to step up our game, deal with what we need to deal with, and turn ourselves into that person that we know that we want to be right now. But that means doing some work. And why do I say that? Because of the full moon in Capricorn, and that is happening in 8 degrees. So take a look at your astrology chart, find out where 8 degrees of Capricorn is. That, and also seeing what house Saturn lives in your natal chart. So you'll be looking at the transits for Capricorn full moon at 8 degrees, what house that lands in, and then look at your natal chart where Saturn's at, because Saturn's going to get activated from this full moon. So let's talk about Saturn really quickly. So Saturn really it wants you to take responsibility. It is not something that you can skate around. It is a planet of teacher. It's about taking responsibility. It's about duty and obligations. It's about patience. It's about knowing what you need to be doing and maybe you're avoiding, and all of a sudden Saturn comes around and says, "Oh, you can't avoid it anymore." Which is why it's always interesting if you take a look at your transits in Saturn. I'm getting ready to teach a class on that. Put it in the comments if you're interested, and I can get the information, or go to my website and sign up for my newsletter. But anyways, there is this element of like you cannot. It gives us structure in our lives. It gives us safety, right? It lets us know what we need to work on and what we don't need to work on. So we're going to keep that in mind. That's what the full moon is. And what does a full moon do? It will shine light on what is the thing that you should be focusing on right now. And you can't walk around it. Okay. So those are the two houses I would take a look at, and then you're going to kind of get an idea of what it is that you're working through right now. Why is this also important right now? Well, the Schumann resonance has been going off the Richter scale for a long time, and it's very interesting if you go on a daily basis and find somebody who reports on or shows just the graph to see the white and the red, and to see how far it's coming down or where it's coming up from, and then the solar flares, and then all the other transits that are going on. Things are just getting ready to amp up. By 2027, things are going to be going full bore. A lot of the all the outer planets are going to be switching signs. They already have begun that. Pluto already changed into Aquarius. Saturn and Neptune will be going into Aries permanently, but not until the end of this year and the beginning of next year. And then we just had uh, Uranus go into Gemini, but it will come back out again and then go back in. Do you see what I'm saying? There's all this shifting and sifting going on. And every time it goes in and it retrogrades back, what does the retrograde mean? The retrograde means you get to do the inner work, the things that you've already started. And it allows you the time to do that, because sometimes working through what I call major activations is what transits are to me, especially if they're hitting a planet. And I've got many being hit right now directly. I mean, like on the degree point, that if you're not doing the work that Saturn's asking you to do, it's not so great. It's not going to feel really good. And that's not to say to scare you. It's actually here to prepare you for the future, for the new Earth, for the new way that we're all going to be operating our consciousness from. And that means we have to do our inner work, and that can feel really scary. And here's the thing, as the new Earth begins to show itself, and do I really understand what the new Earth is about? I don't. All I know is that there's going to be this. I heard this like 15 years ago, and we're already seeing like the eruptions in the water coming out, which I think means that some new land masses could start to appear. It's not going to happen overnight. We're talking, we got a lot of time as these planets are going to be in these new signs, but there's probably going to be some new Earth. There's going to be some new findings out in our universe, right? They just found another asteroid out there. So all of these findings, we're going to find things underneath the water. Like the exploration of our universe and where we live is only going to get more profound, which means we ourselves have to grow and expand in our consciousness, which means that we have to understand our shadows. We have to understand what our gifts are, what our talents are, so that we can enhance those. But it doesn't mean it doesn't come with the word calamity keeps coming in my head, but I don't know why. It doesn't mean that we can skip over anything that has been churning up for us to take a look at. So, for a lot of us, we're going to experience really big shifts, relationship changes, job changes. Maybe you're going to finally start the career that you wanted to do. Where you're living might change. How you feel about yourself, your physical appearance might change. All of these things can happen. And this full moon is really honoring how Saturn and Neptune were sitting on the 0 degrees of Aries, which is where it is on the world stage. And if you have any planets on the world stage, it's getting hit right now. If you have anything at at 1 or 2 degrees of Aries, it's getting hit. And it means that that's the area of growth for you. So if you understand the area of growth, does it make it any easier to do the growth? No, not always. It doesn't. And I get that. But we have an opportunity, and it's all being mandated in a sense that those of us that choose to go with the energies that are available to us, heal what we need to heal, walk through, the judgment, maybe the overwhelm, the fear. If you're walking through that right now, you again gain more authority, and you're not giving your authority away to any transit. Transits in astrology do not dictate what's going to happen. They tell you the possibilities, and then you have a choice as a human how you want to utilize that. I already know part of mine is healing. I am doing more healing work. I thought I'd done all my healing work. We always do, right? About 15 years ago. And I'm always constantly looking at things, but I've hit some big new ones that have been popping up. And I see it in my chart. It's time to deal with it. It's time to slow down. It's time to integrate. And more importantly, with Saturn doing all this work right now for us, you have to do the things that you don't want to do for self-care. It's number one. The more that you start to do the things you think and know you should be doing for yourself, that's true self-care. But if we don't start doing that, our mental health, our physical health, our energetics all have this great support to look, heal, and step through, because the new earth can't bring along with it its intensity of materialism. It will still be a part of it, because that's what we came here to do in this physical suit, to have the things that we can touch, right? But we've forgotten what our soul's work is, which is your North Node. And the soul's work is more the feminine energy. And it's starting to say, you got to look at me too. Because that's where you're going to know that, when you get to the end of your visit here on Earth, and you're going to say, I did it. I really do feel like I did what my North Node was asking me. Now, that's not the word you're going to use. But for those of you who are listening to this, that's going to be important for you to follow through, because the North Node's kind of quiet. It's not a planet. It's a space, right? It's a black space that correlates between, where your moon was born, where your natal moon was. It has coordinates of North Node and South Nodes. And so when you start to play in what it is that's bubbling up, what's surfacing for you? What's the thing that you've been avoiding? Or what's the thing you're in the midst of? You're like, I thought I was done with this, and it's popped back up again. It's time. This is the ding, ding, ding. Because what happens then is that eventually in 2026, when Saturn goes direct And then Neptune goes direct and they meet up again in the sign of Aries. Aries represents your independence, your warrior, your physicality. It represents I'm woman, hear me roar, right? Like I'm not standing down anymore. I'm ready to move forward. So if you're doing your Saturn work right now, what's going to happen is that dream of yours, the thing that you have been envisioning for yourself, will happen with solid foundation to it. And that's what happens when Saturn and Neptune join together in 2027. But you got to do your work now. Now you got to do the work and you'll see the results next year. And I'm not saying that it's that finite and that quick or finite and that it will happen exactly then. You can start to see it now if you're working through it now. But just know that that's part of the evolution into this new earth, and everybody has access to this. Individualism, but individualism in the sense that everybody has what they need, right? I think there's a lot of fear of people saying everyone's being so, all about themselves. I'm like, everyone has to learn about themselves, hence why I do human design and astrology. Everyone has to learn about themselves, but even when you stand in your own power, in your own dream, it means that you also give sovereignty to everyone else and support them on their journey without you condemning or telling it it's wrong or right. That's the biggest thing we're working through on planet Earth right now is telling people they're wrong or right. Are you on my team or am I on your team? Vice versa. And if not, you're my enemy. And that's the work for a lot of us that we have to work through right now too, and has become very evident. And it doesn't mean that we allow people to take our authority or tell us, or that we don't stop or voice concern on things. Like that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that we really do need to enhance more of ourselves feeling safe. And this full moon really is going to help you anchor that in for yourself. So use your tools, whatever your tools are. If you do breath work, if you do meditation, if you work out, if you do any type of modality that grounds you, that gets you back into alignment with your greater source, your higher soul self, God, spirit, universe, whatever you call it, this is the time. And it isn't that you can do it once in a while right now. Because the way I say that is because I was trying to do it just once in a while back and it wasn't working. I had to step fully into what I knew I needed to make this journey. So grab your knapsack, put it on, and start making your steps towards that thing, that issue, that block, that contraction, that responsibility that you know you need to do. Now is the time. You're getting the call. You're heeding the call. And until next time, my friends, if you ever need any support, you know where to find me. Go to my links below. And until next time, always follow your passion and your purpose. Many blessings. Bye, guys.